Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. So if you live in Philadelphia, South Jersey, Newark, Wilmington, Delaware, Northeast Maryland, Lancaster, PA, Allentown, do me a favor, reach out to us. We play everything under the sun. Someone did reach out and ask if we play Kings of War. I have played a Kings of War game. I actually own the rulebook. I really didn't pick up much with my group, but some of us actually do play the game. But mostly myself, I play the Ninth Age. But again, some of us do. So again, please reach out to me again, because we're just looking for like-minded individuals. We want excuses to play with our little toy soldiers, and that's it. And as it stands, is Monday night's my typical game night based off of people's work schedules, days off, and things like that. And it's my Tuesdays, one of my short days at work. So I was very happy to say I actually had 6 guys on a Monday night over my place playing games, and it's great. So again, please definitely reach out to me. It's more important, as I said, to have fun. It's not that we're not competitive, because we are. But at the same time, it's more important to play with our little toys. So today we have the Vermin Swarms versus Dwarven, and I know it says Dwarves because my computer autocorrects, but Dwarven Holds. This is actually going to be a 6,000 point game, so equivalent to an old 3,000 point game per side. And I'm going against Dan, the infamous Dan, who's got a decent build right now. He's not fielding a Pendulum or a Bell or anything like that, but he's doing the Assassin spam, and it's nasty. It's actually, I'm scared. I'm scared to throw my King in against any Assassin right now that causes Lethal Strike D3 wounds, and to me, it can absolutely be brutal. It has the potential to kill my King with just about all of his units. He's got the meat grinders all throughout, which I'll show you. And it's a nasty build. I definitely think there are some tweaks. I think there was some that to be had with this list, because he's jumped around between Vermin Swarm. He's come here with his Empire Sunstall. I think that's all I've seen him play. He's been working on his vampires. So I can't say enough about the guy. He's well versed. He definitely is an old style tournament player, because I first time I met him was actually in a tournament about 10 years ago now. And just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and probably one of the most gracious players you'll ever play. So if you ever have a chance to play Dan, I strongly would urge you to do so, and definitely listen to what he has to say, because he's got some wonderful insights and things. Now, for the Dwarven Holds, this is actually going to be a version 1.3, and I downloaded the 1.31 because they did a slight modification. So when you see the terrain, one of the comments on one of my previous actually, it was on a thread. It was not on YouTube, but on a thread. It was like, they used the same terrain again. This time, I'm making my list. We're on one of the different tables, and Dan set the terrain. I had no input in the terrain on this board. So we have impassable, forest, hill, ruin, forest, hill, and over there with the big red die on it is another ruin. So it's fairly even. It's fairly spread out. Looks kind of cool, and should open up for a lot of fun, a lot of play. So we started placing, this is how the board looked after Vanguards and Scouts. So we started placing left and right, and he had a bulk of his army left at that point, as did I, and he's just like, you know what, I'm going to drop everything. I looked at him like, okay, go for it. This is actually advantage to him. I'm a player who I like getting first turn. My army doesn't need, but it severely helps. So if you're playing a Dwarven Holds list, you should want to try for first turn. It's advantage to you, and the advantage is that first turn of shooting, you have that advantage to turn around and pick off whatever needs to be picked off right off the bat, and in terms of maneuvering, it allows you to put your opponent on his heels, which is very unusual for Dwarven armies because their movement's so slow. But they're speed 9 on the march. Okay, so I'm speed 9. I got a 24. This is classic deployment, and our secondary objectives was capture the standards. So if you get first turn as a dwarf player, if you push up, this 24 minus 9 is 13. 13 minus 4 is 7. All right, so you don't march up the full distance, but you march up. Okay, say 8, 7 inches. All right, that's all you need to do. And then your opponent's going to say, I can't really move up because if I move up, I'm going to get charged. Okay, and that's what you need to do. You need to set up those counter charges. So had I had first turn, I actually would have been sent my vanguards all the way up 9 inches. I would have sent my scouts all the way up to even chaff him up. I would have moved up my warriors that are up on the hill. And I'll go through army list real quick because I know I don't have anything posted. I don't have his in the description. And I'm still tweaking mine a little bit. But I'll give you the brief description verbally here. So going from left to right, and I'm doing something experimental. So the great big white blob on the far side next to that piece of impassable terrain, those are 18 Kingsguard. Now, instead of using a great weapon hammer, they are actually going to be considered using halberds. The reason why is anyone who sees me online, SirMC 2015 up on the boards, I'm trying to run a positive, what can we do for the future of dwarves? And the thing is I do feel the dwarves are a very, very balanced list. I do. I feel the dwarves are a balanced army in terms of offense and defense and weaknesses and strengths. I, as a player, I get to know my weaknesses very well, and if my opponent notices my weakness, just like a lot of good tacticians, okay, this is my weakness, now it's my strength. You're going to go for this, I'm going to hammer you as you try to go for it. So, next to them I have my Kingsguard with my king on a throne. Dan said something to me, and I'm not. He says he posted it up online, and I fully believe that he did. And it makes perfect logical sense. It does. Is if you're not playing a king in a Dwarven Holds army, you're not playing to its full potential. And if you add a throne, you then add to that potential. Now, a throne's not a necessity, a king is not a necessity. But you get so much more from having the king. And I think the gentleman, Omar Cummins, who's a Canadian, someone has a fire pit going, turned around and did an army review, and I think I'll have to get my normal crew in here to do another Dragons talk regarding the dwarves, because again, if you talk to my group, dwarves are overpowered, but they're not. They're not. It's part of it's how I play it, but it's also, I feel it's balanced. The issue is that I feel some other armies are a little too strong, so they need still a little bit of a nerf. 2 examples off the top of my head is Ogre Khans and Beast Herds. I'm not saying they need a huge nerf, just a little bit to get them in line. I know Infernal Dwarves got a nerf. I don't know what occurred, so I still have to review what occurred. But, that's just 2 things that, off the top of my head. Now, let's take Dread Elves, Soaring Ancients, Undying Dynasties. I just played a gentleman, Nick Reap, and with Undying Dynasties. These are armies that I feel are very good. They have some very synergistic effects in game. However, they could still use a little bit of love. And when I say that, just to open up some more styles. That's it. I'm not saying to, in terms of strength or anything else, just to open some things up. Open up some more availabilities as to different styles, different maneuverability options. And that's it. The Ninth Age, as a group, as a whole, in my opinion, is doing a great job. I've been playing this game now for over 20 years. And here's the thing. For those of us who have been playing for even half that long, or even a quarter of that, say 5 years, GW didn't care about the players saying, "Oh my God, this is OP." They're out to make money, and the way you make money is you're going to then release that army that's going to have that I win button. And I think the Ninth Age is doing a much better job of trying to keep that essence of what that army is, so everything is not vanilla. At the same time, have a balancing act, and it's so hard. And to those of you who play this game with me, thank you. Thank you for turning around and helping them. Thank you for playing this game. And that's it. That's my soapbox regarding Ninth Age and everything that they're doing. All I can do is express how thankful I am, because I know I posted this online. They saved this hobby for me. I have more models I'll ever know what to do with, and my wife already told me that when I go, they're gone. Which I just looked at her and had to laugh, because I'm only in my 30s, but it struck me as funny. But, you know, for me to turn around and get rid of hundreds, if not 1,000 models and terrain, and oh dear God, I was really about ready to toss in the towel. So to the people in Ninth Age, thank you. With that said, going through the quick list, I've got Kingsguard using halberds rather than great weapons. They have a runic smith in there. It has a shield and knows 3 spells. The initiative spell, which I don't know what the name of it is off the top of my head. Glimmering, which is hard target distracting, and resilience, which is -1 to wound. Then I've got my deep watch with my king, which is kitted out the same way with a great weapon. Rune of resilience, rune of the mountain, which is +1 toughness, and 2 shieldings and 1 iron. And let's see, then I've got another runic smith in that unit, which has devouring, brilliance, 3 spells, which is reroll misses, glimmering, and well, it's reckoning, glimmering, and resilience. And to me, that is really key. You want to make Deep Watch work and work well, you put a runesmith in them. Okay? You want anything, Greybeards, Deep Watch, Clan Warriors, normal Clan Warriors, not Clan Warriors with spears, just normal Clan Warriors. You want them to work well, yeah, put in that runic smith. Give them AP1 to their weapon. You have Thunderous Charge, AP1. So now you're dealing with Strength 4, Strength 5, AP1. That's -3 of the armor. That's the same as having lances. So when I'm sitting here and I'm playing this army, I have my Equitane. I have old school Bretonia on the board sitting there in front of you. You charge me, great. I go defensive with my armor and ward save. I charge you, I have my armor, a little bit of a ward save, not much of one, but I'm going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And that's what I feel like I'm playing as I play this list, and that's my style. Okay? As you can tell, I was having a beer. He was enjoying his birch beer, and you know that there is just my style. It's that aggressive. I'm going to reach out and touch you. I want to get you to where I can beat you, and go from there. All right, so this Deep Watch, you've got my Vanguarding, great weapons, throwing weapons there in front of the ruins. You've got a Junior just to the left of the ruins. You've got an organ gun there that has that's just rune crafted. That's it. You've got another organ gun that's flaming and rune crafted. The reason why I did that is in case there's a unit on the board that has Fireborn or whatever, Forgeborn, whatever it's called now. That gives them 2+ against flaming attacks. And then I had the flaming for those things that have regen. I have an engineer in there that has the forge repeater, so 24-inch range, 4 shots, quick to fire, multi-shot, and strength 5, I believe. Then I've got a unit of 25 spearmen with a, and I know this was a mistake on my part, but I did it for a reason. The unit all the way on the left, the Kingsguard, actually had the flaming banner. The spear dwarves have the war banner. Then I've got the bears, which are whole guardians in this game, because I only wanted to play with 1 unit at a time to see how it works. I don't want to turn around and do more than that. That's the pharmacist in me. I don't want like playing with more than one change at a time to see how it to truly evaluate something. I've got another junior, which is a Vengeance Seeker. I've got 10 marksmen with crossbows and shields. I've got my rangers that skirmish, shields, and crossbows. And then I've got 15 clan warriors, nothing but shields. Okay, no command whatsoever. Going across from me on the far side, he has a Doom Wheel, or whatever they're called now. Then he's got a unit of clan rats with a meat grinder and an assassin in it. He's got a naphtha thrower, which is the horse with the thing from a 40k bit that my buddy gave me that he kit bashed. Then he's got a rotary gun. Then he's got a unit of I don't know what they're called now. They used to be called storm vermin. So heavy armor, shield, halberds with his general and an assassin in that unit. The boat. He's got another rotary gun, by the way. The boat is his. The abyss. Basically, it's his monster. I can't think of the word of it right now. Then he's got another unit of clan warriors with a meat grinder and an assassin. And then he's got another one of those doom wheels in the back there. He has 2 lightning cannons and a unit of clan rats with spears with his BSB and his general, or no, that's not his general, but his mage bunkered in that unit. So he dropped everything. He got first turn. So I'm already sitting at a defensive battle. I can't march up. I can't turn around and say, okay, you're going to turn around and move forward with this, approximately this many inches. I'm going to try to keep you back. He's movement 5, so what's 24 minus 9 is 13 minus, so it would be an 8-inch charge. Probably not likely. Odds are more in my favor, so I just would have stayed back, so it would have been a 9-inch charge. So then he would have been had to sit back. Then I'm pestering him with my organ guns. As I said, he got first turn. He already has me at a disadvantage. Dan, if when you watch this, job well done. I really liked that. Unfortunately, I think you played me too many times that you know that is one of the things that, it's not that I rely on, but is most helpful for me. So after his movement, there were no charges to declare. He moves up as such. And that's it. And it wasn't that he was being conservative. It's just he had first turn. Nothing could reach me. His magic or shooting killed half of that unit. Meanwhile, in his shooting phase, he was unable to restrain his Doom Wheel, and that killed 3 of his models right there. More shooting killed 3 of my marksmen. And those are guild-crafted handgunners, by the way. So now it's Dwarves turn 1. I charge with the Rangers out of the forest against the Doom Wheel. I'd rather be charged than do the charging. So that thing's toughness 5. It's got its grind attack, strength 5, so D3 grind attack, strength 5. It has 2d6 strength 3 attacks. So it's got a lot of things that have potential. In that, at the same time, by charging, I'm not getting the ward save, but against those special attacks, I don't get them anyway. But I get Thunderous Charge. So now I'm wounding him on 5s rather than 6s. To me, that's big enough. So he math hammered it. I just sat there and like, it's better to do it than not to do it. In which case, you can't. If you overrun, it gives me a better option to go after you. And by the way, one thing, because I'm playing Vermin Swarms, because I have a king, because I have a throne, I rolled 2 more grudges, have a king, and Vermin Swarm. That's 4 grudges. Each one of his combat blocks, I have hatred on. Each one. Okay, and our secondary objective is, as I said previously, capture the standards. This one I'm actually going to turn around and post. I don't like the enemy choosing which scoring unit to kill. So, of course, what are you going to choose? You're not if I can mitigate that saying, all right, here are my standards, but no, scoring units, I'm a dwarf. Everything is just about scoring unit. He picked my weak unit of clan warriors with shields. That's 15 strong. My marksman and my whole guardians. My unit of 3 whole guardians. I'm like, crap. Well, that's what I would have chosen too. Meanwhile, I chose the 3 bricks, being his mage bunker, his other brick on the far side, and his main unit with his storm vermin. I chose those 3. The reason why I chose those 3 is that's where my strength is from that half of the board off to that impassable terrain. I've got my deep watch, my spears, and a junior, and my Kingsguard. That is a bulk of my points over there. So let's see here. That's it. Dwarven turn. Hey, guess what happened? I caused, I think, maybe 1 wound or something silly like that. He did nothing to me. I won that combat. It broke. It fled. It got away. You know what? I can't say At the same time, I was like, crap. I won that combat. That was pure luck. All I can say is pure luck. My opponent, Dan, he analyzed it right. We should have been a push, more than likely, or he win that combat, and I have like maybe 1 or 2 dwarves. Yeah, no, I got extremely lucky there. So now it's going to become. So that's how the board looks, and he's already trying to measure things up at this point to try to see if he goes different areas to see what happens. So it's now Rat's turn 2. And I'll show you a picture of his movements. But he ends up killing my, I believe, my other junior there from shooting. Though he's still there, but he charged into my 1 junior, which the Abomination. Couldn't think of the word before. The Abomination charges into the 1 junior. And the reason why that's still on the board is Skaven apparently have this item. I don't know, or banner. I don't know how much it is. It's a 1 use only. Puts everything in his army as hard target. Everything. Or not hard target, hard cover. So if I had cannons, I don't care, but I don't. I have organ guns. Organ guns care. My shooting cares. So now all of a sudden I'm hitting on 7s or 8s, depending on which unit. I got lucky again. I managed to put 1 wound, I think, from my crossbows. Maybe 1 wound from my organ gun. I don't recall which, but it was only like 1 wound there. Against his Abomination. And that was it. He turns around. He rallies his Doom Wheel. He easily kills Junior. But one thing that does occur is Junior puts 2 wounds. So Junior goes first at initiative 10, strength 5. For 120 points, thing is, he is easy to kill because of his toughness comparatively. He's only a 3 wound critter, and you can magic him so easily. But he's still a force that needs to be reckoned with and reckoned properly. And let me go back to one more picture. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. So one thing of note is if you look, he's pressing. He wants that secondary objective, and I don't see a reason why not. By charging in with his Abomination, and then reforming, he knows that Abomination can take on my whole Guardians and win that combat. He knows that his big unit of clan rats there, with the meat grinder, with the assassin, can easily, no questions asked, take on any unit on that flank. As far as I'm concerned, I have lost my right flank, and to top it off, I have turned around and lost my 3 scoring units that he is going to have to turn around and claim. So, over here, that thing rallies. Apparently, one of the rules is when that rallies, it still gets to go zappity zap zap, and does 3 shots at strength whatever, and the turn that it rallies. Charges is charged. It doesn't make a difference unless it's fleeing. Or I think it may even do it when it's fleeing. But no matter what, it's going to shoot whatever's close to it. and that's it. So he's, as I said, he kills Junior. I put the extra 2 wounds on. Dwarves turn 2. This going here, I think, was a mistake that my opponent just didn't realize. Like he thought he had the advantage, and he did. However, by putting his unit in the forest, he loses steadfast. He gets the rank bonus, which is maximum of 3, but he loses steadfast because the majority of his unit's there. But he's banking on the meat grinder and his assassin in that unit. So dwarves turn 2. I kill the abomination with shooting. This thing just soaked up everything. So it had 3 wounds left. I shot my engineer into it. I think I did 1 wound, or I did nothing. I shot my crossbows. I did 2 wounds. I had 1 wound left. I'm going, crap. I have to shoot it. And he has a spell up that causes -1 to wound. I have to shoot that thing. I have no other option but to shoot it. So my last organ gun did it in. Over here, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of me charging in that combat. I charge my whole guardians into his clan warriors. I think he does 1 wound with all his attacks to my bears. Or to my whole guardians. I'm sorry, you're going to hear me call them bears. It's easier for me. Meanwhile, my whole guardians, because of hatred, kill his assassin with 1 shot. 1 wound snuck through, and I did 3 wounds, killing the assassin. 1 bear turned around and just pulverized the meat grinder, and then the other bear picked on the unit. Overall, that's 3, 5, and then the 3 stomps. That his unit lost combat. I think broke very easily. Runs away. I chose not to pursue. The reason I chose not to pursue is now I'm looking at a flank right there with 3 whole guardians going against the flank with his general, which I don't think is equipped well enough to defeat my bears. And yeah, that's going to be mean. So here's Skaven, turn 3. Here's how the board looks. And he turns around. He manages to get his other Doom Wheel into the flank of the Kingsguard with halberds rather than great weapons. And that's it. And I am trying to chaff him up with the marksman. Yes, it's a 280 point unit. They're like peasants. They're meant to die. The important things are my blocks, and not even the 15-man block. The important thing is my Kingsguard, my Deep Watch, and my spears, and of course my characters. That is my strength, and the organ guns. Let's see. That's it. He gets a spell off that's +1 strength, +1 time. He gets the boosted one. As I said in the beginning of this video, is I had devouring. I devour that because I don't want him casting that all throughout the rest of the game. That's the one spell. That and 2 10x summons is the one spell I'm going to have to deal with that can come back and change, because it's a buff spell, change the spell. And I forgot to correct him. It's +1 strength or toughness, depending on which one. So I forget which one he cast. And that's it. He chooses not to charge my chaff because he sees that if he does that, my Kingsguard are going to be there. He can't chaff him up with anything. My spears are there, and getting combo charged, especially by those 2 units, it would be rather painful. Dwarves turn 3. So I turned to face him. He won combat. He only killed a couple of my Deep Watch. He didn't have much that could hurt it. He had the impact hits, and he rolled poorly for the impact hits, so I lost one or 2, and then I reformed after making my leadership test, and then I turned around and just ate him the following turn. During that combat, I turn around, I chaff him up even more. So now it's Skaven turn 4. Here's how the board looks. He's chaffing me up with his Naphtha thrower. Actually, no, he's not even chaffing me up. His Naphtha thrower was to the left of his clan rats there. And let's see. he got off 2 10x summons last turn. I forgot to mention that. I greatly apologize. So the 2 10x summons is there on the one side. There's his Zappy Zap Doom Wheel right in front of my 15 Clan Warriors. And he's banking on his magic. And he's got the Fireball spell bound item as well as whatever number of spells his mage knows. And I actually like that kit out because this way it's either offensive in terms of acting like a shooting phase, in which case he already has a lot of shooting, or because of the other spells, he can now cast spells into combat. So it makes whatever caster you have well versed. And if you're going to go with one of those lores that is nothing but buff spells and things like that, now you take that ring, now you've got your offensive power, or vice versa. In which case you already went offensive power, and this way you've got that one fireball, which has the attribute. I disagree that bound items should have attributes, but whether or not I'm a majority or minority doesn't make a difference. Where was I? He charged my chaff, he ate my chaff. And the reason why you see one bear there is he got off a hit going down the flank with his cannon. He ends up killing. He can't do more than 3 wounds because they're 3 wound critters. But he kills one bear, fails to wound the second bear, and then kills the third bear. So right there, he just kills 2 bears. Those cannons are 250 points each. A dwarf cannon is 270. Empire Great Cannon is 280, I think. Here's the big difference: is those cannons don't have access, I believe, to the engineer. Whoop-de-doo, because that's already an extra point buff you have to do. Those are strength D6 plus 4 or D3 plus 4, something ridiculous like that. If you roll, and that's it. Yeah, it's so, and then they multi wound just like cannon D3 plus 1, and they're AP 6. Other cannons, they're strength 10, and then they go down to like strength 3 or 4. Okay? Yeah. Why? That's all I can say is why. As you listen to our Dragon Talk regarding artillery, I'd rather have bolt throwers and cannons. But I have access to organ guns. I'd rather have organ guns above all else because they're very versatile in this rendition. I don't see them changing anytime soon because when I played Nick, he chats me up so that maybe I did a wound. I think I did maybe 1 wound. It wasn't until his ambushing big unit of knights popped up behind me because he was playing Undying Dynasties that I shot him with 2 organ guns and my engineer and killed all but 2 of them. And he had started with 6, they're 3 wounds each. And here, between that item that says hardcover for everything, getting into combat, putting him one of my units between his units, just using the cover, just well played by my opponent. Just well played. So Dan, again, well played. Right now, I feel he's winning this chess match. He's got the 10x summons right in my flank there. Yeah, he's winning the match. I don't want to go up against that unit there in the middle because of the halberds, because of his general, because of the assassin. I think he'll pick through my dwarves well too easily. Let's see. Over here, 2 tank summons. He kills 1. I'm steadfast. And over here, it's a push. Dwarves turn 4. So we're still fighting that battle over with 2 tank summons. I'll get to that in a moment. And I charge into his Napha thrower. Here's the reason why he didn't charge. I want to go back to a couple pages. 1 second here. So, I want to draw your attention to the left, my left, so bottom up, left-hand side of the board. You see a Napha thrower and the big unit of clan rats sitting behind. Some of you are probably going, "Why didn't you charge?" Really, why didn't you charge? He did charge. He had to get the Napha thrower out of the way because it was just chaffing him up just enough. He was going to have to wheel, in which case he ends up hitting the Kingsguard. Or not the Kingsguard, the Deep Watch, which he doesn't want to go into with the King. Or, okay, so he had to charge the Napha thrower into the Kingsguard. and he tried to charge the clan rats into the Kingsguard. The problem is he went to move the Naphtha thrower, which he had to do first. He thought he was going to make it. He rolls a 6. Well, he goes, okay, I'm in. Like, wait a second. I have my Banner of Dismay on that unit. I roll a 6. You get your normal movement. That's it, because it's minus D6 to his movement. He ends up blocking his own charge. He would have actually failed the charge anyway, but he fails his charge at this point in time, and he's going, crap. Like, what the heck do I do now? And he did manage during his turn with his cannons to kill my one organ gun. He didn't misfire. I want to say this now. He didn't misfire with any of his Skaven bits on the board once this entire game. And he channeled every turn of the game, usually during both magic phases. He channeled. He is king of the dice gods this game. But it's been a great chess match. It truly has. Up at the right-hand side, he tried to get in there with the Abomination, or not the Doom Wheel. The Doom Wheel just was like an inch or two short. And that's it. So chess match is still to him, but I'm getting some nice plays. Turn around and getting that one unit off the board, because it failed to rally, and then my Rangers pushed it off and then charged that cannon up at the top. So I went through all that. Dwarves turn 4. I chaff them up again. I don't want my spears going into that great big halberd block yet. I'm just not ready for it. On the right-hand side, my dwarves turn to face 2 Temic Summons. I'm hoping to kill that thing. And that's it. My Kingsguard charged the Naphtha Thrower. He chooses to hold in case I flub the roll there. And my Kingsguard actually tried to get into that big unit behind it, because now's the time to do it, because I figure I can turn around, do enough wounds, grind him out. He's got nothing to really counter me at this point in time. And then converge on that center and break that center. In which case, if I can get rid of that during his turn, do a combat pivot, now all of a sudden my Kingsguard, my Deep Watch, my Spears are all going to go into that big main unit with his general or his mage. But, you know, dice didn't like me. I think I rolled a 1, 1, and a 2. Meanwhile, the bear rolled like a 10 to get into the flank of his spears over there. And that's it. 2 Temic Summons. Kills, because I rolled an 11. Kills my unit. Okay, because he did 1 or 2 wounds. I did nothing back in return, or maybe 1 wound. I don't remember. So that Totemic Summons runs forward, has just claimed 220 points. 220! What did it cost my opponent? Nothing. Wow. So I definitely agree that that spell is broken. It needs some type of minus. I actually like the concept, but it needs to have 1 lower toughness, if not 2, so make it tough T4, T3, because it is a free unit. Maybe give it a higher initiative, like maybe initiative 4 or 5. Strength 5, I'm fine with the strength being strength 5, 3 attacks, but needs a lower toughness so that normal troops, normal elves, normal humans, normal dwarves, clan warrior dwarves can turn around and deal with that. Because as it is, nope, you need great weapons as a dwarf or strength 4, a character or something. And even then can cause issues. So let's see. Finally, I'm able to take out that cannon all the way in the back. I destroy the Naphtha Thrower easily enough with a -1 to hit and +3 to my initiative. So now I have Halberd, Strength 5, Strength 6 on the charge, AP 1. That's -4 to his armor save, going off at AP 5. Versus if I had great weapons, it still would have been Strength 7, because they're normally Strength 6 +2. So Strength 7 on the charge, AP 1. So now that's -4, -5 to his armor. Do I need a -5 to his armor? I mean, let's be honest, unless I'm going up against knights, and I'd rather have halberds. I'd rather have that ability to give the unit +3 initiative. it's too versatile. Okay, and that's what the runesmiths are supposed to be. So yeah, the comments I've seen going around the Dwarven threads right now is like, well, they're just going to wait for me to go ahead and cast that spell and stop that. Let them. Absolutely let them. They want to stop that one with all their dice because I'm casting it on 2 dice, leaves me another 4 to 6 dice. Let them, because now I'm going to get -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and because I have 2 runesmiths, and because this is a larger game, it's a 6,000 point game. It's like, you don't like that one? I'll get a -1 to hit, -1 to wound, a reroll misses. Go ahead, stop whatever you want. And the reason I didn't do a reroll misses on that unit is that I was planning on charging him during his turn, and I already have hatred. Don't need it this turn. Over here, the bear turns around, eats 3 or 4 of his. Flank charge. I win that combat. Over here, so now it's his turn 5. He turns around and takes out the rest of my chaff. Easily enough. Let me go back. And that's it. So the unit up top's in combat. His other unit's in combat. Totemic Summons actually charges the marksman with the crossbows. Can't even stand and shoot. Can't even do that because it is a random movement item. For a free model, that thing is too good. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to take care of that big unit in the middle. Currently my Deep Watch see it, and my Deep Watch shouldn't have an issue trying to deal with it. But great placement on Dan's part. He's winning. To me, he's still winning this chess match because the Kingsguard is depleted. The Deep Watch can't get in because the Kingsguard is there, and he also chats me up using a Rattling gun. So job well done. Over there, turns around, kills him easily enough, repositions. So now, here's this combat. I have -1 to hit up on my guys, and +3 initiative, which means I'm actually striking before him. I tried to kill that assassin. I tried. I did 2 wounds to it. He made, or 1 to 2 wounds. I'm pretty sure 2 wounds with what I threw into him, and he made both of his saves. I didn't even touch that assassin. Meanwhile, that unit did have a Doom Wheel, or a Meat Grinder. Had a Meat Grinder in that unit. I killed that Meat Grinder right off the bat. Having that +3 initiative allowed me to kill the Meat Grinder before it had a chance to grind my unit. That's key, because as Deep Watch, or not Deep Watch, Kingsguard is susceptible to anything that's going to be Strength 4. Anything Strength 4 or better. Anything that's going to have an AP, because I only have a 4-up armor save, no shield guard, no shield wall, because they don't use shields. And I'm fine with that, but because of the great weapons, they're not worth their points, because Kingsguard just aren't worth it. They're a great unit, fantastic unit. To me, they should be placed with halberds with a great weapon upgrade if you want that consistent strength 6 for, I'd say, 25 points. Deep Watch should be 30 points a model. All right, Deep Watch are, I think, underpriced a little bit, or they're right on. I mean, 2 points a model isn't much. It's 1 model when all said and done. But it's, that's all I can say is, to me, Deep Watch, the way I have that unit currently, it's hard, it's rough, it's a nasty unit. But here, going back to that Kingsguard, after his assassin, after his clan rats, he killed 3. I did 5. I did over 5, 7. I did like 11 wounds, I think, to him. That include his Meat Grinder in that unit. So now it's turn 5. I'm still hammering it out. And because I actually, so Dwarf turn 5, I charged his rotary gun. I charged it. I still couldn't get in the flank because it was still a front. So I turned around, it fled. I actually caught it and blew it up rather than try to redirect because No matter what, I couldn't do anything with it. And at this point, I had to deal with that unit. My hope was to be able to tie that unit up because I had my BSB. I was expecting to lose combat by 1 or 2, but I'm leadership 10, so let's say I lose by 2. I have my reroll because of my BSB. My BSB is nowhere near that assassin, and that's it. I have nothing to shoot, and meanwhile, I am losing my marksman one at a time to his to tandem summons. His free unit, cast by magic, is killing one of my guys per turn, per phase. Again, I love the concept. It's just too good for its point cost, for what it does. It's there to be chaff. It's not a chaff. It actually becomes a strong aspect of the army, and you can spam it because it's a spell, so you can cast 1 per turn. And it has the breath weapon. Yeah, it's strength 3. Dwarves don't care. My Equitine does. My elves do. Okay, so yeah, I love it, but just it needs a little bit of tweak downward. And meanwhile, so there are other spells that need to tweak upward, maybe a whole nother lore. So let's move on to combat. Since magic-wise, I'm going to end up putting -1 to hit on my spears. I think that was it. Yeah, because I rolled like 3 or 4 magic dice. That was it. So on to combat. His assassin turns. He makes way with his guy. He ends up killing. He ends up swinging away there. He swings with his assassin. When all's said and done, because of the -1 to hit, I lose 3. Count them up. 3 dwarves. So he either needs 4s. He needs 3s with the assassin. He needs 4 with his general, and he needs 5s with all the other rats. And then with all the other rats, he needs 4s to wound me. I lose 3 between my armor saves, shield walls. Because I think I needed 6s and 6s. I got a little bit of luck, but I wouldn't have really changed anything. This is where it got nasty. This is where my opponent was just sitting there and holding his head going, oh my god. I did 12 or 13 wounds to him on the charge in. And I know, again, going with the forums here, is they're going, how did that happen? Well, let's figure it out. Just take out the BSB, who has smashing. Nothing there has strength 5 or better, so that's a useless 40-point item. He has precision, so +1 to hit. That could be useful. But 15 attacks, needing 4s to hit, because his Stormvermin are weapon skill 4. Need 4s to hit. So 15, I'm rolling on average 7 or 8 hits. Then I get to reroll that, the misses, so 7 to 8, get to reroll them. So now I'm actually hitting 11 or 12 times. Okay, then you add the character who has lightning reflexes. He should hit 2 to 3 times. So all of a sudden that's 15 hits. Let's roll to wound. Well, I need 3s to wound. So I'm wounding about 8 times with the unit and 2 to 3 times with the character because he's strength 5 on the charge. So he's negating their armor. They're strength 4, AP 1 because they have spears. That's 11 to 12 wounds. Guess what I did? I think I did 13 wounds. I did 13 wounds. A little above average. 1 or 2, 1 above average. All right, and he's going, holy crap. So not only did I win combat, I have more ranks than he does. He breaks and flees. I roll boxcars. Unfortunately, I already did that combat with my bear up at the top of the screen. And lo and behold, zap, right into that unit with his BSB. I didn't expect to get there. With his BSB, with his mage, and going, oh my god. Meanwhile, during his turn, during start turn 5, he actually did zap the bear, but he failed to wound the bear that's in combat. And again, that thing can shoot into combat. Just it hits the closest model. So, Skaven, turn 6. He's going, crap, what the heck just happened? And I won't lie to you, I didn't expect that my unit of spears, granted, it does have the BSB, so it's got standard, BSB, and war standard, and 3 ranks. So it's already sitting a static of 6. Charge would made 7. So, but still, I didn't expect that to happen. Here's this. He takes his not abomination, his doom wheel right into my flank. I'm going, all right, that's fine. Bring it. I'll see what happens. And still -1 to hit going on. And meanwhile, I still have my what's left of my Kingsguard. Now, last combat phase, he killed 2 or 3 of mine. I killed 5 of his. Ends up being a wash. So, moving on. Over here, he starts off and kills... Oh, unfortunately, all I have is a bad picture. He kills 2. Count them up. 2 from my spears. I think he ends up killing a total of 5 that phase. Meanwhile, I killed the rest of his remaining spears in that combat. I have the bear in the flank and everything else. Plus, I'm already sitting the BSB, the 2 ranks, the charge, the banner, and the war banner. So he's going, yep, nope. Plus all the extra wounds you did compared to me, I'm auto breaking. I dropped my hold stone so I could get shield wall against his doom wheel. So the spears cannot pursue. Just flat out cannot pursue. And that's not, to me, that's not a bad thing. However, the Whole Guardian pursues, and his unit's running away, not from the Whole Guardian, his unit's running away from the Spear Dwarves. They get caught. My turn, my Whole Guardian goes into the cannon because it's like maybe an inch or 2 away. And I did a combat pivot with the spears. They're in the rear of that unit because everything just auto broke from that combat. And that was it. So we turn around. I killed the cannon easily enough. We get to this, and there's Danny. He just looks at me. He's like, can we just call it? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's just call it. And that's it. So I still have 2 of my scoring units on the board, being the Whole Guardians and the Marksman. I only lost the 1 unit to a free unit on the board. And that's it. As far as I'm concerned, because, again, he's calling it, I tabled him. And the fact that the Kingsguard during my magic phase has -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and I forget if it was reroll misses or positive initiative. I think I got the positive initiative off because he flubbed his 1 roll, so allowed me to just open stuff up, and that's it. So the beginning part, I want to go back to roughly turn 3. Well, I'll go right here. Up until this point, it was a beautiful chess match. We were going chaff for chaff. I was worried about him getting a charge, and I still think had he gotten his charge off into me, whole different scenario. Okay, with my spears, but he went chaff for chaff. He chaffed me up very well. I forced him to fail his 1 charge. That chaffed him up. Plus my own Vengeance Seekers, the scouts, the Rangers overperformed because they're only 150, 160 point unit. There's something real cheap, so can't say enough. As for them no longer being scoring, I never treated them as scoring. I always forgot that rule. Even during the tournament I played, I forgot they were scoring. And just that's it. So as you may have guessed, where's that slide? There's that slide. Easy match. Well, it was not an easy match. It was a great game. Great chess match. It's just once I was able to choose the combats I wanted and how I wanted them, it went just sliding downhill for my opponent. So 20-0 victory for the Dwarves. So, Vermin Swarms. That Totemic Summons. That was, to me, in my opinion, was his MVP. You could say it was his mage, because his mage actually turned around and was fireballing everything and got that spell off. Point to be said for that. At the same time, 2 Temic summons. And once I got that unit into combat with my Whole Guardian, with my bear, he couldn't shoot his magic missiles anymore. So, and because I ate that 1 close combat spell of either +1 strength or +1 toughness, that nerfed him. So for Dwarven Holds, my Clan Warriors with Spears and my Runic Smiths. My Runic Smiths allowed my units to survive. Okay, gave me that AP, and at the same time, the Clan Warriors with Spears did a lot of the heavy lifting and took out his general's bunker with the assassin and everything else, took out his mage bunker, and then took out where the Kingsguard were holding them up, held out the other unit of Clan Warriors. So that's why I actually put 2 units for me, because it was their synergy that they had going for them. I can't say Dan played a bad game, because he didn't. He played a smart game. The Banner of Dismay is wonderful. It fits the way I play perfectly. And I truly, after playing with it, and I think definitely you need to figure out their points, but after playing with it, I think Kingsguard need halberds. Just flat out, they need halberds. It sets them up differently from Deep Watch. They don't have the save. They have an extra attack. They're always strength 5, strength 6 on the charge. Okay? Then if you team it up with a Runesmith, with the ability for a Runesmith, the ability for hatred, the ability for the initiative buff, that is a sick, disgusting unit. If you hoard them out, that could be even worse for your opponent. But again, you need to go into that game with a set style of what you want to do. But getting back to Dan, crap, he left something here. Dan, I think you played a smart game. I think you played a good game. I think the Dice Gods loved your shooting, because he was shooting me off the board. But it was once turn 3 happened, and I had no choice but to settle into those charges, and I was able to pick my charges. Yeah, that's where it went downhill. And really, he did make that one mistake, actually, that cost him the right flank, which was when he put the unit in the woods, thinking that I could charge him with anything and he was going to win because of the meat grinder and the assassin. But because it was the Whole Guardians that are toughness 5, strength 6, D3 wounds, that was it. Just flat out, that was it. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for listening. I still have to get back to my Quest for the Grail battle reports. I have my Infernal Dwarf report. I will apologize for that, as I don't have as many pictures as what I would like. And all I can say is the guy was one of the nicest guys I met from Tennessee, and I look forward to posting that one, but that'll have to be another night. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.